everybody. It's been a while since we have talked. How are you, Pam Powell?
I'm peachy.
Yeah, you're lying. That's
Yeah,
fine.
lying through my teeth. It's been quite a 2026 so far, let me tell you.
Yeah, well, it's going to get better.
It is,
I
right?
have no proof or reasoning for that, but I'm just going to tell you it's going to get better.
I'm gonna go with that because I want it to. So we got that.
That's right. Positive thinking. Good things come if you. Mm, Well, I'm not even going to say it that, but positive thinking. Positive
There we
thinking.
go.
It's going to get better. It's going to get
I'm
better.
I'm gonna go with that. That
All
sounds
right.
good.
All right. So, it's been a horrible time at the movies lately, and I think that's another reason why we just haven't done a podcast. I mean, traditionally, once award season comes or is over, and before summer season begins, which is now the beginning of May, I mean, it's always been a fallow time at the movies. I think
Right,
that studios just dump things they don't know what to do with, or release things that they're contractually obliged to but have no faith in. And that's never made any sense to me. I mean, there's only 52 weekends in a year.
right,
And I would think that you would take advantage of every single one of them, especially when things start to get jammed up in summer and at the end of the year.
right.
And every once in a while, when a studio does wake up and put out a major movie during one of these so-called dead weekends, they have a hit. I mean, Project Hail Mary
Right.
is a prime example. So I can't figure out why we have these, this couple months where there's nothing happening. I can't remember during this time period so many horror films being released.
I think that there's a little trend there, but we are like inundated with horror movies right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, a couple usually out there. But
Hmm.
I mean, right now, I mean, I'm just looking at a Fandango right now for my local theater, which has 16 screens. And we've got They Will Kill You, Ready or Not Part 2,
Hmm.
Undertone, Scream 7.
Wow.
And I know that there are two coming out next weekend, Hunting Andrew Nichols and Faces of Death. Uh, I guess I wouldn't mind it if any of them were any good.
Right?
I did enjoy Ready or Not 2. I enjoyed that. And Undertone had a couple things in it I liked, but the rest have just been it's just so much schlock, so much obvious things. I mean, no subtlety at all. Yeah, well, we can go into that at length too, about my feelings about horror films, but I just find it odd that there are just so many, and I know you don't like them at all.
Well, no,
And
no,
it's
no. I'm gonna stop you right
well,
there. That's
I
like
know you
people
like
saying I hate music, and I don't hate music. I'm just
you
very
do hate
particular. I
music.
don't hate
You do
music.
hate
Oh my
music.
God.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God.
Anyone who has sat in a car with you for more than 10 minutes and seen you at the fucking radio would say, God, she hates music.
We need Pam's radio station. We haven't come up with that yet.
Yeah,
I
Pam's radio station for those with no sense of for no attention span. You ADD radio. There you go. There it is.
ADD radio. That's
Yeah. But we do have at least a really interesting movie to talk about this week, and one
Yes.
I think that I think I could probably say neither one of us saw this coming.
No, no, to be honest with you, and we're talking about the drama starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. To be honest with you, I'm not a fan of either one of these two actors. I wouldn't like say, oh, I'm going to go see it because Zendaya's in it. I'm going to go see it because Robert Pattinson is in it. No, I wouldn't. But let me tell you, these two actors blew me out of the water. Um, this one, we're going to be a little careful about what we say and how we say it because we don't want to take away from the experience of those of you who are listening to this podcast who haven't seen the movie yet. But this one is one of the most complicated, authentic, original, and intense movies I've seen in a long time.
Incredibly timely is what
Right?
I would also say too, and right on the money as far as talking about things that need to be talked about that most movies are not going to touch.
Before
And
we,
hats off to the filmmaker here, and I'm looking up his name for
Christopher
going,
Borgley.
yeah, for going down this route. And he made a really cool movie too a couple years ago called Dream Scenario, in which Nicolas Cage plays a character who suddenly pops up in people's dreams for no rhyme or reason whatsoever, and just trying to figure out why that is happening, and the impact of that was a lot of fun as well.
It was, and what a unique, what a novel concept that was for a movie. And again, much like with the drama, we watched Nicolas Cage's character's life unravel because of this inexplicable situation occurring that he has no control over. So,
Right. And with this, I mean, the drama deals with two people who are about to be married. I mean, we're about a week out. Emma and Charlie, played by Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, and they're happy. I mean,
they're cute.
they're cute, they're happy. They both have really good jobs in New York City. And I liked that. I liked it because I hate when they show, people living in New York who have these incredible apartments. You're wondering, how do they pay for that? How do they
Right.
pay for that? And here it's explained. They're like, oh, okay, this guy's a curator at a museum. She works. I'm not sure what she works at. I think it's some sort of advertising thing. But we see them both in the workplace. I'm like, oh, okay, makes sense.
Right.
That they would be there. And things are going great. They got two good friends, Rachel and Mike, played by Alana Haim and Mamadou Assay. And they're great. And they get into a conversation one night about what's the worst thing you've ever done. Have you ever had that conversation?
No, I don't think I would want to either.
Yeah,
No.
I've never had that conversation. And that's I love movies where when they throw something out, you put yourself in that situation. Because as that scene was playing, and I was thinking, my God, what would I say?
I know, right?
You start rattling back in your mind like, oh yeah, that was not good. And oh Jesus, I shouldn't have done that. And yeah, I would be curious as to how many people out there have actually had that conversation.
Yeah, because once things are spoken, they cannot be unspoken.
Which is what happens here. All four of these people revealed their worst thing, and a couple of them are like, "Yeah, big deal." But then there's a couple where it's like, "Wow, that is kind of disturbing." The most disturbing, or the one that causes the greatest ripple effects, is the one that Emma shares. Something that she shares she was contemplating doing when she was a teenager. It's something that she did not do, but just the fact that she contemplated doing this makes Charlie look at her and everyone look at her in a completely different way. And Charlie starts to reevaluate whether he actually even wants to marry her or not. And the other two as to whether they even want to be associated with her or not. And that's the rest of the movie, is them grappling with this.
Um, I found it quite interesting too that, and this is we're just going to focus on these four characters, and
Right,
it's a small ensemble cast. Each of them have a different relationship with Emma, and
right,
each of them reacts differently about the news that she shares with them.
right. Good
Um,
point.
and all of their lives are impacted in a different way because they now have this new information about Emma.
Right, right.
I found that to
I,
be incredibly intriguing and smart. This is a really smart script, and the writer director Christopher, I'll just say by his first name, Christopher, um, really delves deeply into each of these characters' personalities and how they would truly respond to a situation like this, making it so real, so authentic. I felt like I was a fly on the wall the entire time watching all of this unravel. And again, like you said earlier, I put myself in their shoes. How would I react? What would I say? What would I do?
well,
To
and
make it
it's interesting that the Alana Haim character, though, Rachel, she has a bit more of her personal history really impacts this new information as well.
right, right. Um, Alana Haim, man, underrated actress. She to me just stood out. She was not a super likable character, yet she was a relatable character. And every single nuance in her performance created this believable reaction to what she was doing and why she was doing it. Nothing ever felt contrived in this movie from any of these four actors. Um, we truly understood where they came from. Everybody, they were like layers of an onion peeling back one at a time, and we're able to understand them. And it was just so real, Chuck. It was just
Well,
so real.
right, and a couple of things I want to bring up is that this whole thing that we're dealing with, as far as what Emma has revealed, is a mental health issue. Um, and that's, a hot button issue now, as it well should be, because still
Hmm.
there is a stigma about this. Still, there are people out there who don't get the help they need because of, I think, fear of being ostracized, of fear of, again, this movie deals with that,
Right.
being looked at differently.
Yeah.
Suddenly
Yeah.
they look at her completely differently, and you can tell that right away she regrets sharing this.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up because everything that they bring up for like a socially relevant topic like this, the mental health aspect, they address it in a way that it's not in your face. We see that, they point out how many other people in
Yes.
this same situation.
Ah, yeah. I love that moment because, yeah, when they point that out, then the camera goes to various people. It takes place in New York City, walking down the street or
Could
just
be anybody.
going about their day. And it's like, what do and then it all gets into this whole aspect. What don't you know about people that you think you know?
Right.
There's that too.
And here's another aspect. Oh, there's so many aspects. Um, can you change?
I loved that. I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's really the key point of the film.
Right.
Because again, what she tells them happens when she's 15. And as one character points out, your brain and your maturity, you don't fully develop. You're not completely there until you're in your mid 20s.
Right. And that's so actually true, which I
It
love.
is completely true. Shit,
You
I
know?
taught middle school for 35 years. I know that. And I know you were in the public schools. You know this, and in having kids, you see that as well.
Right.
Um, so that is a key point. And the other thing is that a lot of times we say we allow people to have a second chance to redeem themselves. And should we hold our people responsible for things they might do on their very worst day? Some things, yes. Some things are unforgivable. Some things you need to pay penance for completely. But are there things that you do or even think? I mean, again, she didn't even do this. What do we, there has to be a time to where we say, okay, fine, we do give you another chance. We understand.
Okay, so let's stop there for a sec because I want to bring up the fact that she didn't do this. She just thought
Doesn't do
about
it.
it, but
Right.
she went a little further than thinking about it.
Sure. She's got one foot out the door.
Yes, yes, maybe even a foot and
Completely.
a half.
Completely.
And then they do address this just a little bit, like why didn't she do this? And
Right. Totally.
so she didn't do it, and what are the circumstances behind that? And let's dig into the psychology behind that and the what ifs of the world. Um, oh man, it's a smart movie. It is so smart.
Well, but the thing is, fate does play a role in this as far as the timing of something that occurs that prevents her from doing this. And then her behavior, if we're talking about a pendulum, swings completely over in the different direction, as though she's wanting to atone for
Right.
this.
Right.
And I can't judge her for that. Won't say I admire her for it, but you have to take that into consideration as well when judging her, because we are judging her by,
Oh yeah.
everyone is judging her at that point.
Right.
Um, it's kind of, I'm gonna venture into waters that may piss you off. So
Okay.
I'm sorry about this, but I kept thinking about, and I've thought about this, the Me Too movement. A lot of people were accused of things that completely ruined them. And some of them were completely justified in having their careers and reputations ruined,
Hmm.
without question, without question. But then there were other people where it was like, wait a second here. Does the crime justify everything that's happened to them? Did what they do justify their lives being completely ruined and their career completely thrown out the window?
Well, is it an eye for an eye?
Well, I'm just going to throw out
Yeah.
Louis C.K. I'm just going to throw out Louis C.K. there for a second.
Okay.
Okay. Guy was accused of masturbating in front of women, which he did admit, which he did say was wrong. And then he was completely ostracized for a while. Now, I'm not a woman. I've never been in that situation. I don't know that. But it just seemed to me that that one was a little bit skewed, wasn't quite right as far as eye for eye was concerned. Garrison Keeler was accused of, some sort of sexual inappropriate thing.
Really? I didn't know that one.
Yeah, well, you know why?
Huh.
It came out later that somebody that he knew, someone who worked on the show for a while, for a long time, he was comforting her and patted her on the leg, and she took that wrong.
Okay.
This is the type of thing that bothered me about that whole movement. Okay. It was just like, again, Harvey Weinstein, no doubt. Never want to see him again.
Yeah.
Others, no doubt. You're gone. You fucked up. That was heinous. Yes, you deserve the punishment you got. Other people, though, I had a real problem with. And I think that is touched on here with her. There are characters who are the Alana Haim characters will never understand and never forgive Emma for what
Right.
she did,
Right.
or I even didn't do. So I think it brings up that issue as well. Justification of punishment, and do you ever get a chance to redeem yourself?
Right. And looking in the mirror at yourself as well.
Oh,
Um,
completely.
so I'm going to back up to when we first find out all these secrets that all four of these characters, these
Right.
worst things that they've ever done. I found it interesting when Charlie, Robert Pattinson's character, said what he did, and the others were like, not a huge deal. And then he like tried to be a little boastful about it and say the consequences of what he did were actually a little harsher. It was almost like a one-upsmanship. He needed to make it sound worse than it was. I found that to be interesting. That yeah, I'm bad too, like
Right.
part of the bad boy club or something, and he needed to be a little worse than what it actually
I'm
was.
trying to think what did he say? You
He
can
was
say that.
cyberbullying. He was
Cyberbullying.
cyberbullying
Okay,
somebody.
right, right. Okay, right, right. Yeah, say that's not giving anything away.
No, no.
But the thing about those four,
Mm.
the thing that Alana Hamm's character, Rachel, says, I thought was god awful.
Yes,
And they don't
horrible.
focus on that nearly enough.
No,
I didn't think.
yeah,
And for her to be just this, I don't want to say holier than thou, but I mean, she rains down vengeance on the other woman. It's like, wait a second.
and maybe
What you
that's
did was god awful.
was horrible.
I mean, God.
Maybe that's like for somebody who has a psychology degree to take a look at this movie. And maybe that's a psychological reaction to say, "Ooh, there's somebody worse than me. I'm going to really be judgy to show how horrible she is, and I wasn't that bad."
Or, or,
Something.
or, or as we see all these people in power in our country doing, you're distracting or you deflect.
Right, right.
You know,
Don't look in the mirror.
yeah. I
Shine into
would.
somebody else's eyes.
I love what you just said. I would love to have a psychologist or psychiatrist watch this and then get their reaction. That would be fascinating to me.
Yes, yes. I'm hoping that my friend Kristen will go see that. She does have a psychology background, so I would love to
I,
hear what she has to say about it.
I'm sure, and I can't wait. This movie is going to be written about extensively. I mean,
Mhm.
we're going to get essays on this. We're going to get people who are really going to break this down, smarter than me. And I'm really anxious to see what they see that I'm not catching, because it is, as you've said, just so layered. Um, and I don't want to get away too much from this whole mental health aspect, because the Pattinson character then he spirals out of control as well.
Yeah, yeah. Each of them had a different reaction, and that poor guy definitely spiraled out of control.
So, which begs me to ask you this question. He does something inappropriate later in the movie. Does he deserve some sort of repercussion for that? Or is he able to say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I was going through this and this is why I did this. This is my justification.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's complex. He has emotional trauma from
Mhm.
what he's going through with Emma, but I guess it's not an excuse. It's a reason, you know?
Right. But we could then argue that Emma was going through emotional trauma
Oh,
too when she was
absolutely.
15.
Yeah,
And so do we excuse her?
right.
Again, that's why this is such a good fucking movie.
Yeah, yeah. I also want to talk about stylistically.
Okay.
This movie to me was unique. Um, I loved how, and I don't want to say I mean, some of them were flashbacks. We get to meet Emma when she was this teenager. So
Right.
we
That's
fill in,
important.
it is, and we fill in the blanks with that, which is wonderful. We get to know Emma better. But then we have these flash forwards in Charlie's mind as to
Right. What? Yeah.
what what is happening in his head psychologically and how he's seeing Emma, how he's seeing their future, how he's reinventing their past experiences together, which allows us to feel what Charlie is going through based on this information. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah. And Charlie's got issues of his own. I mean, as she points out, you fixate on things.
Right,
As you point, and we see him doing that. They go to dance lessons. They're trying to figure out the food and the wine at their wedding, and we see him doing that, and then that behavior is then applied to this new information. It's like, holy shit,
right.
you know. Um, yeah, as I'm sitting here talking to you about this, I have a movie group, and I think I'm going to suggest that we all see this,
Oh, I
because
think that'd be great.
just the conversations that are going to come out of this are going to be, and I think it's important to have conversations, because this is the type of movie that I want to hear other perspectives that maybe will change my perspective, or
Or
give me
see it.
a different way of seeing it. Exactly. And I
Yeah,
think that's important with a film like this and the issues they're talking about.
right. Every single scene in this movie is important. Um,
There's no fat on this movie.
no,
You're
there
right.
isn't,
You're
and
right. Yeah.
that is a credit to the filmmaker as well. But I want to bring up one of my, I don't want to say a favorite scene, but maybe a relatable scene. Chuck, we're both married, and we've had differences with our spouses. And have you ever had an argument right before you've got to go out and put on a face and be
Oh yeah.
so when they
Oh
have to
yeah.
go, okay, so all the shit hits the fan, and the next day they've got to go have a consultation with a photographer. Uh, and the photos. Okay, smile, smile like you're
Yeah.
happy. Smile, smile, smile. Yeah, no, no, smile.
Like you would in real life.
Right.
She says, smile like you
Um,
would in real life.
I that was so
And,
painful to
and,
watch, but I understood it completely because I know I've been out with my husband somewhere and I have to pretend to like him and I'm very mad at him.
and acting is so difficult, and people don't realize how difficult it is until you've got to try and do that. And Pattinson in that scene, I mean, my God, it seems to be a simple thing, to smile, don't smile, and to have to smile but not really mean it. I mean, that was really difficult for him to pull off.
Yeah, yeah. He had to have
You know,
really immersed himself into the topic matter and actually become a part of that, you know?
and the fact that the photographer was so fucking irritating as well. I mean, Jesus God, you know, and then they have problems with the DJ
Right,
and the
right.
judgment they put forth towards her
Yeah,
ends up being so hypocritical.
yeah, yeah.
I
Look in the
mean,
mirror, you
then
know?
there's that. I mean, and they're not even sure. Well, I don't even want to get into that, but you're not even sure that what they saw her do, did they actually, it was that actually happening.
Right,
So yeah, again, though, I really think at the core of this film is, I think what the director is saying is that we need to be understanding to a certain degree, and we need to give people second chances. Because on at least two occasions, she says, we need to redo this.
right.
And I'm not going to tell you what she's talking about, but she does say that. And the final scene is a redo. And I just couldn't help but think that that's what the director's trying to get across is being able to give people another chance, at least for things that they deserve another chance for,
Right.
you know?
I also, I mean, the judgment of everyone in this movie and
Yeah,
the fact that the hypocrisy too that you just pointed out. And nobody's perfect.
right,
Nobody does everything perfectly. Let's hope that, with the exception of some of those really awful people out there that do things to intentionally hurt somebody. Most of us are out there. If we hurt you, we're not doing it intentionally. There's no
right,
malice there.
right.
We don't know what is going on behind closed doors in everyone's lives. And I think
Exactly right.
I think that's a part of it too. Is Elena Ham's character. We didn't know that she had such a close interaction with what was going on until
Right.
that was revealed. And apparently she had explained that, but nobody really listened to her. So we don't know what happens in other people's lives. So yeah, be a little less judgy maybe, and,
Yeah.
and be a little
Mm,
more kind and forgiving and understanding.
yeah.
And we don't know, the complexities of everybody's life. I mean, I don't want to play that game. I can tell you that.
Well, what's the old saying? Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think I want to know. And not so much for myself. I don't want to know all the bad stuff people have done. I mean, I want to know good stuff. I want to focus on the
Right.
positives.
Right. Yeah. We're complex.
Yeah,
We're
we're not
complex.
perfect. We're not perfect.
And I got a feeling you and I are going to be talking about this movie more as the year goes on.
Yeah,
And I think we're certainly going to be talking about it at the end of the year.
I think so too.
I've seen two great films this year, and this is one of them.
What's the other one?
Crime 101.
Okay. Yeah, and that's
Uh,
streaming now, by the way. People can watch
right.
that on Amazon Prime.
Right. I wanted to bring that up because that also, I think, deals with behavior that comes from, you know, abuse, neglect. These people in that
Inequities.
film, they're in their middle age. They're faced with a crossroads. A lot has happened to them. What do you do? It's not just a crime film, and I hope people don't just brush it off as that. I
Right,
don't think it's as good as the drama,
right.
but there's more there than you realize.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think the drive we're going to be talking about it at the end of the year once we're doing top 10 lists. I don't see how it can't be there, seeing as how we're having this in-depth conversation, and I know we're going to talk about it more.
absolutely. Absolutely. What do we got coming out next week? Anything worthwhile?
There's a couple more horror films coming out,
Oh,
as I mentioned.
good.
There's that. Um, there's a new version of Hamlet coming out
Okay.
with Riz Ahmed,
Uh-huh. I like him.
which, yeah, if he's
Sound of
involved,
Metal.
oh God, Sound of Metal. What
Wasn't
a
that
great
great?
fucking movie.
Right?
Great movie. You talk about a movie that resonates. And I don't mean to make a pun there, but I mean that one I think about more than I realize. That one pops up in my mind, and really a great film there. There's a movie, a rom-com that I'm dreading called You, Me, and Tuscany.
Oh,
Yeah. hmm
okay.
And then there's a movie called Beast. Looks like an MMA fighter film with Russell Crowe as the trainer of a rather violent, well, I guess you have to be violent if you're an MMA fighter. So yeah, just a little bit. I'm hoping there's something in there that's better than it looks. I've seen Hunting, Matthew Nichols, one of the horror films. It stinks.
Okay.
Then on April 17th, though, we have The Mummy. Lee Cronin's Mummy. I don't know if you've seen that trailer that I sent you.
I did. I watched it.
I got hopes for that one because that one looks really disturbing.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you take one for the team for that one.
Yeah, I knew you would because
Yeah.
that's touching on some things I know you don't want to deal with. And then Normal with Bob Odenkirk is
Yeah,
coming out on the 17th.
that looks interesting. Now, one that you didn't mention, and I did ask for a screener for this one. I think it was made in 2025. It's just coming out now. And the reason why I asked for it is because it has John C. Reilly in it. It's called Heads or Tails. And
Well, see,
I
well, I don't know where it's coming out next week. I don't see it listed here. But I requested a screener for that one too. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
Yeah, John C. Reilly as Buffalo Bill. I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it too, just because he's in it. That's
exactly right. Well, let's both watch it this weekend, and we'll see what's there. Hopefully, there's something there.
All right, that sounds perfect. Everyone, thank you for listening. Please go see the drama. Please communicate with us and let us know what you think. We want to hear your opinion on that one. ReelTalkWithChuckandPam.com. That's REEL talkwithchuckandpam.com.